I'm Kelly at noglowkel.com. How to create an independent record label. That's the subject of our conversation today. Our record label is Nakenterprise Corp. We manage a few artists like Leon Blaze, Bashment, Trav Man, Kellyman, and Nakenterprise is the group used when we put out our beats or our instrumental tracks. Let's talk a little bit about starting an independent record label. Well, first of all, you need to create a corporation or some kind of entity. It could be an LLC. You may be drawn to the ease of doing business as a DBA or as yourself because it's easier and faster. That is without a corporation and without an LLC. And it's also a bit cheaper. The problem is you do not have any protection. A corporation and an LLC provide protection from those who come to sue you so that they don't take your personal assets. The last thing you need is to be running a good business, having a good time, then to find out someone sues you and now they're able to take everything you have in your bank account. They can take your home, they can take your car and get everything. An LLC or corporation protects you personally. That is, if it's formed and run correctly, it protects you from those who might sue you so that they don't take your personal assets. They'll take the corporation or they'll sue the corporation and your personal assets is protected. And that would be one of the major reasons in creating a corporation to do your independent record label, either an LLC or a C Corp. I won't get too much into the details of an LLC or a corporation. It is just to remember they both provide the same protection. An LLC, though, gives some limitation as to how much owners you can have, whereas with a corporation, you have the ability to have a large amount of owners, and you can also sell shares to raise income. So if your intent is to become a large business, like one of the large independent labels, then you might want to consider opting for a corporation rather than an LLC. But if it's for you and you intend to keep it within the family, one or two owners, then an LLC might be okay. So you've started your corporation or your label, and now you're ready to go. What's the next step? Number 2, now that you've formed your corporation, the next thing is to get your ISBN numbers. In order to sell throughout the world, you need to identify your product that you're selling, and each need a particular identification number. An ISBN number is generally what's needed in order to sell your product in all the major stores. So you need to purchase your sum of ISBN numbers. With music, in addition to your ISBN number, you need to identify each individual track. If it's just one, you still need to identify that track in addition to that ISBN number. So you need what's called an ISRC code. So you'd purchase your ISBN numbers and you would purchase your ISRC codes so that each CD, if it's a CD of 10, they'll all have one individual ISRC code. If it's a CD with one track, it'll have its ISBN number and just one ISRC code. Now that you have that in place, you're ready to go. The third step would be some decision making on your own that you need to make. For starters, you need to decide on music. Will you be making your own or will you be purchasing music? If your decision is to purchase beats, that is to use within your record studio, then it's a money issue. You just have to understand you'll be paying money for that. It's easier, someone has already done it, you simply need to purchase it and use it. If you decide to make your own beats, like we do, we make our beats in-house, then you need to now invest into some softwares and you need to now begin to educate yourself and your team to use those softwares and to make those beats. I mean, there's a lot out there and on the market and in the industry, but it's up to you if you decide you want to make your own beats to decide which ones you'll be using. My experience is that each brings its own flavor and style, so it's a good idea to use more than one so that your music or your beat has different flavor and style to it. Another decision you would need to make under the decision arena is a studio. As a record label, you will need to decide where your artists would be recording their songs, whether it's going to be in your studio or you'll be renting studios. I mean, some places have both. They have their own and they also rent. The benefit of renting is they've invested the time, energy, and money into creating a soundproofing studio for you to simply walk in and record and it's done. The drawback is that it's money. You have to pay per time in that studio. So it means preparing well so that you don't waste a lot of time in the studio that you may enter into because you're paying for that time. Now, to have your own studio, the benefit is your artists can be in that studio and practice as long as they want, and it's on you. It's your own internal studio, so your artists can use it as long as they want and it's always available. The drawback is, of course, is finance. You need to spend some money in creating that studio to have it available. But in the long run, it does pay off because you have it there available for your use. After you've made that decision as to where you'll be getting your beats from, whether by purchase or you'll be making them in-house or both, or studio, then the next question is artists, singers. You need people to sing on the music or the beats that you have. So you would need to collect your artists or get your artists to sing on your beats so you can then do what you need to do. After you've gotten your artist as a record label, it is now time to protect yourself before you put your music out there. Now, this does not have to be done, but you should protect yourself. As in anything you create, it is your intellectual property, and as such, you need to protect that creation of yours. If you've created a music, a beat, or a song with the beat, before you put it out there to the public, understand that everyone is not out for your benefit. There are people out there that will take your music and your beat and simply sell it or sell it as their own. So you need, in this world, of course, to protect yourself or your creation or your intellectual property by copywriting it. So by copywriting your information, your song, your beat, you then show that as of this date you created it, and now it's protected. After it's been copywritten, now it's time to then distribute it to the public at large, and you'd like to get your music out to all the major stores, anywhere where people buy music. After that's done, the next step is promotion. You do want to promote the music. I mean, people can't buy what they don't know of. That is, you can have something in the store, on the shelf, behind the shelf, and people go in there and never know and never buy. So you need to promote and get your product or your music in the eyes of people so they know that you have music and it's out there. That, of course, is also a fee that needs to be paid for. After it's been promoted, your next step now is to register with a corporation or company that collects royalties. With music, what happens is that the producer or the company that produced the music and the writer, those who write the music or the tracks, they have the ability to collect royalties when the music is played on radio and concerts and major events. Each time that's done, you as the writer who wrote it have the right to get paid for that. And the more you write, of course, the more you can get paid, and the more it's played, the more you get paid. So by registering with one of these entities, they will go out and search and see where your music is played, even today on the internet, and then they will collect what royalties rightfully yours for your efforts, and then you'll be paid. And thus, in a nutshell, you would have then created your independent label.